Hello, hello, hello. You know what time it is. You hear that sound? It's time for me to make a really nice cup of tea. Let me go get my water. One moment. You're listening to Saycon Talks with Saycon Sengbloh. Hey, y'all. Yes, you are listening to Saycon Talks. I just got my tea going. I got nice loose leaf, self-straining Earl Grey lavender. It's got black tea, lavender flowers, orange peels, blue corn flowers, natural vanilla flavor, natural bergamot flavor, and natural cream flavor. And it smells so good. I have not tasted it yet. This cup is way too hot. Trying to be cute. I'm using this little cute cup, but this cup is hot, y'all. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. I sweetened it with some, like a pinch of honey. And I also added some almond milk to it. And it's a regular almond milk, so the almond milk is pretty sweet for me. I do like sweets. I love sweets, but I don't like my tea too sweet, to be honest. I like to be able to taste the flavors without it being like overcrowded by sugar, But yeah, you guys, and just a little bit earlier, as you may see on the Instagram page, I had a beautiful juice that I made. Ooh, dropped something. And that juice was delicious. I'm going to keep it all the way real. I made it yesterday. But I was on my way out the door. I made it. I knew I had time. And so I said, okay, I'm going to drink it tomorrow, which is today. So it had pear, kale, celery, and cilantro. And it was delicious, you guys. That cilantro and that pear together just set off my taste buds. Super delicious. It was a green juice. It was a little a hair thicker than some juices can be. I have a little baby juicer. I'm not a professional juicer. I just got a little baby juicer, so I do like 1 cup at a time, or sometimes I do juice shots, but it was really delicious. But I'm starting off this episode with this nice Earl Grey lavender. What kind of tea are you drinking today? You are listening to Saycon Talks.
Like Saycon Sengbloh on Facebook.
Hey, what's up, Saycon Talks listeners? Don't forget to search Saycon or search Saycon Sengbloh to hear my music. Download it, play it, stream it, enjoy it. Please support. Thanks again for listening. So here we are. I'm excited to be back on the mic. I have been processing a lot as an artist, as an entertainer, and just as a human being. And so it's been a while since I did a fresh new episode. And just, figuring out how to manage everything has been a really exciting learning curve for me. So I appreciate you guys' patience. I'm going to jump right on into it, though, you guys. Fantasia. We all love Fantasia. Fantasia Barrino has been in the media as of late. People are talking about her, thinking about her, and watching her interview. She has a new album dropping soon, I believe in October. Yes, I believe she said October 11th on The Breakfast Club, which was this awesome interview I just watched, or listened to rather, in addition to watching a couple of things that people were talking about, checking out, reading a couple of articles online. So she has this new album coming out, and the album is called Sketchbook. She has a tour that's coming, and I'm not gonna front y'all. I'm totally here for it. I love Fantasia. I'm a big fan of Fantasia. So, my opinion here might be a little biased, in addition to the fact that I actually have my own personal views about some of the stuff that she expressed. Of course, she was on Breakfast Club to talk about the music, because it is always about the music, always about the artistry. She's one of the baddest artists to ever do it. So talented, so beautiful, so passionate. Anybody who doesn't know who Fantasia Barrino is, I know I have some international listeners. Look, she's international. I don't even know why I'm giving this explanation, but just in case you didn't know, Fantasia Barrino is an artist who came to America's eyes from our TV show American Idol. She won that year, I believe, that she was on that show about 15 years ago. And her career took off. She came up as a vocalist in the church. And so she's one of those artists that just gives you that type of serious church gospel voice. A lot of soul, a lot of rock in her voice. And then for me, I find her voice to be extremely sweet at the same time, which is right in my wheelhouse. I love a sweet voice. She's sweet. She's raspy. She's amazing. And so yeah, she has this new album coming out, and she got into this interview, and a lot of people are talking about it. It's a little controversial. I have my own personal experience with Fantasia. Some of you may know I was a part of the original production of The Color Purple, the musical. This show started off, I was in workshops and readings and things, and eventually we went to Atlanta, where I played the role of Nettie, Celie's baby sister. If you don't know the story of The Color Purple, it's about these two girls who grow up in the American South trying to grow, and they experience a lot of tyranny as young women. I played Nettie in that original production, and I went on to go do a show called Wicked, and I was not invited to the Broadway production. I'll keep it all the way real, honey. They bought me out, and they replaced me with another actress many might know from Hamilton fame, Miss Renee Ellis Goldsberry. Eventually, the role of Celie was originated by the beautiful, wonderful, talented diva LaChance, whom I love. So we did that show together initially. Eventually it became LaChance and Renee. And then when LaChance left, I'm not sure if it was in this order, because several people have played the role of Celie, played the role of Nettie. But at a point, Fantasia Barrino stepped into the role of Celie on Broadway. While she was there, this was during the time that I was at Wicked. When my Wicked contract ended, my final Wicked contract ended, I had a little free time. I got a call about coming in to be a standby or understudy for the roles of Celie and Nettie on Broadway while Fantasia was there. Make a long story short, I ended up going into the show as her understudy / standby. And I will never forget. I'm gonna have a little sip of tea. Oh, so delicious. I will never forget the day that I met Fantasia. I met Fantasia. She wasn't dressed. She had like her undergarments on. We had like this little bodysuit that we wore under the costumes. It's like a bodysuit. They can put your mic pack and put your different stuff in and make it so you can make quick changes. So she just had on this flesh tone bodysuit. I mean, upon meeting her, I was like, whoa, she ain't got no clothes on. I remember this because she had just gotten a new tattoo. And so she had, when you get a tattoo and they put the plastic wrap thing, it was this tattoo on her leg. And oh my God, Fantasia has the prettiest skin. Her skin was just chocolate sunshine. She was just glowing, and she's like, come on in. She told me, come into the dressing room. I came in. I'm trying to look her in the eye and not be like, oh my God, she has the most beautiful skin, the most beautiful body. I was like, whoa. But I came on in. She was very welcoming. I sat with her for a bit. She was getting ready for the show, and eventually around that time, she ended up having, God bless her, she ended up having some vocal issues. And I thought this little 6-week quick little check, quick little, new Broadway credit was going to be easy breezy. I'd be in and out. And lo and behold, she did end up taking off for a little bit of time because she had to have some type of vocal rest or something. So I did go on during that time. I went on as Celie. I never went on for Nettie, which was my original role, but I digress. That's just my little story on how I met Fantasia. We'll be back in a moment. Hey guys, this is Saycon. If you haven't heard about Anchor, I have to tell you, Anchor is how I make my podcast. Are you interested in making a podcast of your own? It's free. Just try Anchor. They give you the creation tools that you need to be able to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard just like me on Spotify, Apple Podcast, many, many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. They give you everything you need and it's very easy. So don't forget to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Again, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. The coolest thing about it is if you have the app and I have the app too, we can call in together and you can be on the next episode of Saycon Talks. Thanks for listening. So yeah, being on Broadway with her, I was so, she's a very likable person, a lovely spirit. I'm not going to front. We are not besties. She may not even remember my name. That was a long time ago. I'll keep it all the way real. But she's just, I don't know. Some people will say somebody is anointed. You get that feeling when you're around her. I mean, I know she's just a human being like you and me, but that's just my thought. Anyway, this interview that she did on The Breakfast Club is just got everybody all in their feelings. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I feel like everybody's always in their feelings about something lately because we're all really trying to police everyone's opinions, police everyone's emotions, police everyone's thoughts. And I'm definitely all about free speech and free thought. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to have free speech, here in this country. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about a comment that Fantasia made during her interview. During her interview, of course, she's there to talk about the music. But of course, people wonder. She's a talented woman. She's a celebrity. They want to know about her love life, her personal life, and she delved a little bit into that. She mentioned how she met her husband and how their relationship works. And one of the things she described was how quickly their romance happened, how they met at a club. One night she was trying to leave and he came over to her, and after his drunken friend was all in her face, he came over and apologized on behalf of his friend, assured her that he was not like that, and proceeded to convince her and her girls to stay a little bit longer. And, fast forward time, here they are married, happily married. So she told a really sweet story about that. And she just talked about how they get along so well. And one of the things she said, which had everybody's panties and drawers in a bunch, was that she mentioned the word submission. She said that she submits to her man. She made a comment, something about why women, a lot of independent women, quote unquote independent women. I can't quote her. Okay, let me just say this. I'm just paraphrasing. She made a comment regarding how independent women or certain women of today aren't able to keep relationships because they don't know when to submit or how to submit to their man. And again, I'm just paraphrasing the basic sort of topic of it. But it's quite a controversial opinion here in 2019 because, most people are of the opinion that everyone is equal, that everyone should do, the same thing. Everyone should have the same level of respect, etc., etc. People have very specific and clear feelings about role play, about gender roles, about what men should do, what women should do, how we should interact with each other. And Fantasia was describing what some might call old-fashioned, or some might call an archaic way of thinking, to say that the woman is to submit to the man. She said that her husband is the head of her household. She said he's the head and I'm the neck. She said he's the king and I'm the queen. And on that episode of Breakfast Club, there was DJ Envy and also Angela Yee. Charlemagne was not there. And I was reading in the comments, some people were saying they were glad that he wasn't there. You know, Charlemagne likes to cut up. He likes to get on the, he definitely plays the jokester. He plays the trickster quite a lot. He has that trickster energy. So he jumps in on people, you know, with conversations, and he can be a little tough. So people were saying they were glad he wasn't there because they really enjoyed this conversation. So it's interesting listening to Envy, who is a married man. He's been married for many years. He has many children with his wife, and Angela Yee, who is, I believe she's in a relationship, to my understanding. I definitely listen to Breakfast Club here and there. I love y'all know I be in these YouTube streets. I love YouTube. I love listening to these types of talk shows. And anyway, it was just an interesting conversation because Fantasia felt very strongly and very firmly about this. And she used it as an example to say, this is why I am happily married now. She basically said, the reason I am happily married now is because I learned how to shut my mouth, listen to what my man has to say, and let my man lead. And when I looked in the comments, because this interview came out a day or two ago, so people have had a chance to watch it, digest it, and make their own comments and opinions. When I looked into the comments, I saw a lot of people, a lot of women and a lot of men were agreeing with her. And I must say that I also agree. And this is tough. You know, I always say to people, like my friends, close friends would know this about me. Those from the outside looking in, they see me doing a lot of stuff. I'm always, you know, I'm doing TV, I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm acting, I'm hosting, I'm promoting jewelry, I'm doing all kinds of things, right? And people would think that I would be of a different sort of ilk. But I must say that in my own special nuanced way, I agree with what Fantasia was saying. Now, of course, this particular topic cannot be broken down in one 30-minute interview. It wasn't even the interview was about her music, and maybe that was a 4-minute section of this interview. You know, this particular topic cannot be broken down in 4 minutes, right? But I do believe that she was a wonderful conduit to open this topic. This is a topic that I have wanted to discuss for some time. I tread carefully, but I know for the sake of my life and for the sake of my podcast being successful, I know that I need to dig a little deeper into topics. I've always been a very careful person. Maybe it's the Libra in me that makes me really try to balance it out a little bit. But I know, like, actually taking an opinion and having a thought is what really gets people to kind of check in, whether they hate what you say or whether they love what you say. So, you know, I must take a moment to jump in and applaud Fantasia. Y'all hear that? I'm applauding Fantasia Barrino. As a woman in entertainment, as a woman who might be considered an alpha female, I do seek an alpha male who has leadership skills. Honey, where my leader at? Where my man at? Where my king at? Any ladies who can hear me and who have this same opinion, please let me know. Let me know if you agree, how you feel, if you know what I'm talking about. I feel Fantasia on this. And I've always felt this way. For me, I really do believe this is not just a thing between men and women, you know, in whatever type of relationship that someone is in. whatever type of relationship a couple is in, there's got to be yin and there's got to be yang. Okay. There's got to be the polarity. You know, polarity is what works. It's why batteries charge and energize, you know, our items. We put batteries in our radios. We put batteries in our remote controls, whatever. They energize because of the polarity. And between two people, there has to be someone who takes more of a leadership role in certain areas and someone who falls back in certain areas. That is across the board. And at the risk, not meaning any offense to our Native American listeners, you know, there can be a chief and there can be, you know, the followers, right? Everybody, you can't have like 12 chiefs, you know? And so I think that it was controversial because of how she said it a little bit, you know, when she said, you know, sometimes we need to fall back. We need to shut our mouth and listen to what our man got to say. You know, the general saying that in such a general way can definitely ruffle some feathers. It can make people say, what you mean shut my mouth? I can say whatever I want. And, you know, I pretty much would guarantee you, I can't put words in Fantasia's mouth. I'm not Fantasia. I'm not her speaker. I'm not her keeper. But I'm pretty sure she is not describing some abusive, oppressive situation. What she is describing is the yin and yang, the balance that some might call gender roles, even if it's in other types of relationships. Some might call just relationship roles. And I believe that she was alluding in that quick little moment, she was alluding to the fact that someone has to take the lead and someone has to know when and how to fall back. I know for myself as a woman, I know that I function best when I am with a man who knows what he wants and knows where he's going in the world. I do a lot of things in my work, and I also really enjoy falling into that feminine side. I enjoy falling into the side of me that wants to be led, that appreciates a man who knows what he wants and is clear. I don't want to be coming up with everything and running the show. That's just not who I am. And I'm pretty sure that as hard as Fantasia works, I'm pretty sure that's the same for her as well. I'm pulling up right now the definition of yin and yang. Let's see. Wikipedia. Let's get this Wikipedia popping. I love Wikipedia. I try to donate once a year. You know, when they have that little link up like, hey, donate. I like to donate. The Chinese philosophy yin and yang, literally dark, bright, negative, positive, is a concept of dualism in ancient Chinese philosophy, describing how seemingly opposite or contrary forces may actually be complementary, interconnected, and interdependent in the natural world, and how they may give rise to each other as they interrelate to one another. In Chinese cosmology, the universe creates itself out of a primary chaos of material energy organized into the cycles of yin and yang and formed into objects and lives. Yin is the receptive and yang the active principle, seen in all forms of change and difference, such as annual cycle, winter and summer, the landscape, north-facing shade and south-facing brightness, sexual coupling, female and male, the formation of both men and women as characters, socio-political history, disorder and order. And it goes on and on and on. Now, I don't mean to get all crazy with the Wikipedia and all this and that and the other and the Chinese proverbs and you give me long enough, I'll start pulling up African proverbs and all kinds of sayings from various cultures all over the world. But there is something to it for harmony in any type of relationship, no matter what two people is between. People being able to have that polarity is what helps to, I guess I'd say, helps to strengthen the bond between two people. Every couple is different. Sometimes every couple is different, and knowing who is the person who takes leadership in certain areas in the relationship and who falls back, that's a very nuanced thing, depending on the individual, depending on the person and how they rock and roll in life. But I definitely think there's something to what Fantasia is saying, for sure. Y'all have to pardon me. My stew, my 16 bean stew, is ready. It's ready, and it tastes so good. I had to stop and take a little taste. Do you know, in the middle of this podcast, I paused, went and chopped up some onions and some celery and threw it over in that pot. Then I came back and talked some more. Then I paused and I went and threw some kale over in that pot. I'm not a vegetarian, but this is a vegetarian dish. No meat in it, but it came out really, really good. Very tasty. And just good for my soul. Good for my soul. I'm recording this podcast on a day that I'm about to attend a party for the artist Laulu. He's releasing music and he's having this pop-up shop, and I cannot wait. I'm gonna do my hair and makeup and get ready as soon as I finish with this podcast. So maybe one day I'll do one of those get ready with me videos that some people like to watch. Anyway, I must say that there's something to it, and the whole thing that I think is really important with people is finding the balance in that, balance and time. Timing is everything, and I will say that because of the issues that have been happening in society between men and women, and I'm heterosexual, so I can only speak from my heterosexual experience, and I'm speaking to that experience in general. But a lot of the issues that happen between men and women, a lot of that stuff is based off of experiences people had in the past, how they saw their parents being toward one another, how they witnessed their uncles and aunties or other relationships. And so people carry a lot of baggage and opinions based off of what they saw and what they feel is the best way for relationships to work. And what I believe is really important is for each individual to find the nuance in how you get along with the person. Something that I have experienced as of late in my New York dating life is that people, don't get me wrong, I am a woman who believes in submitting to each other, and I believe in that yin and yang balance, that polarity, of course, right? The feminine, the masculine. I really believe in that. But I do believe that timing is important. And so when you meet a person, you have to take time incorporating a person into your life. The thing is, you have to actually also be willing to incorporate a person into your life. I think within months of knowing a person, if you've been going out, hanging out, spending time together, if you've met the person's close friends or family or associates, I think there is a time where you start to incorporate the person into your personal life. I think that's very important. At the risk of grossing y'all out from chewing, my brother can't stand it when I smack. He'd be like, stop smacking. I can honestly say, because of the intricacies of my fast-paced career, the travel that happens, the random auditions and appointments, the irregular schedule, I must say that dating has been difficult for me because people, I will meet a guy and he will want like that week to be like brought into my personal life, my schedule, my, to be on the gram with me, and I'm very, very private. As anyone who follows me online may know, you don't necessarily see who I'm dating or who I'm going out with, on my social media. Although I love social media, I pretty much only display my career things and just thoughts that are on my mind, things that I like, things in entertainment that I'm watching. I'm not on there like displaying relationships and putting all my stuff out there like that. So I I really do believe you must actively incorporate a person into your life. But I think there is timing. Timing has to be right. I dated someone who, after 6 months of dating, said to me, I don't believe that I should be incorporating you into my life. I like my life the way it is, and this is how it is. And so I had to step away from that situation because I felt that the person wanted to keep me sort of compartmentalized. Now, with this type of life, with this life in entertainment, compartmentalization is definitely important in order to just keep your sanity. But as you start to fuse your life and become a part of someone's life, have a relationship, then coming together and talking and really communicating is so key and so important. I, as a woman, I'm going to actually do a topic on beauty, a podcast on beauty. As a woman, I enjoy my beauty. I enjoy dressing up. I enjoy my femininity. I enjoy the things that I feel inside of myself that make me a woman, because being a woman is not about hair and makeup and outfits, for sure. I enjoy that very much, but I also seek to be with a person who wants to balance with me with that, who wants to be the yang to my yin, so to speak. Fantasia talked about a man stepping up to cover you. And that's what I seek in my own personal life. I want that coverage. And so in order to allow a man to cover you, he has to be the right type of man. He has to be a man who's capable of leading you. And every woman, any woman who's into this particular type of lifestyle, or any person for that matter, who feels that they would like to be the feminine side of their relationship, needs a person who is capable of leading, if that's what's going to happen, if that's what that person is going to do, So I'm so thankful that I'm able to, let me tell y'all, I'm thankful for the internet. I love the internet. I love going online, researching, reading, studying, watching videos, seeing, what people are out here talking about and where people's minds are. And so I was really excited for that topic to come up with Fantasia. I'm curious to know what your opinions are, what your thoughts are on the matter. And if you are enjoying this podcast, be sure to click the link on Anchor. You will see where you can support artists like me who are doing podcasts, who are talking about positive things and putting ourselves out there. This has been another episode of Saycon Talks. Thank you for listening. Follow Saycon Sengbloh on Instagram. Follow Vintage Pop Soul on Instagram. And follow Saycon Talks on Instagram.
Follow Saycon Sengbloh on Twitter. Honeywax.